On the horn with us today is Chris Tomlin. He is a family member of the KSR bunch because this week we're going to feature all our KSR buddies. And we started with Tomlin, who I am friends with. We do we'll tell you more about that in a minute, but we do a podcast together.
Well, I don't know if you guys do.
We did. But he was one of the founding fathers of KSR, I guess, Sports Radio, Kentucky Sports Radio. Chris, how are you, buddy?
Doing great. Good to see you guys. You guys doing okay?
We're doing good. We're hanging in there. We're excited to see kind of light at the end of the tunnel with this quarantine.
Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
I don't know. I'm hoping to see it eventually.
I don't know.
Trust me, I stand by the window and peer out looking for like a touch of silver lining.
Yeah. So, Christopher, tell me about the early days with Matt Jones and you guys launching that thing. How did that all begin? Before we even got to the radio show, there was the website.
Right, yeah. That started back in 2005, I guess, somewhere around there. I still remember the day Matt called me. He called and he was like, listen, I had this idea. Have you heard of blogs? Because remember, this is 2005.
Oh, I love this.
It was like, have you heard of these things, blogs? And I was like, I'm kind of familiar with them. Maybe I'd seen something on television about them at that point. And he said, I'd like to do a blog about Kentucky basketball. Because he said there are Kentucky basketball fans spread out not only all over the state, but all over the country and the world. And they really the only ones being served are the ones that are in the Lexington and Louisville markets who have access to, whatever their local big station is. And so he said, why don't we try to aggregate something like this? And he said, I want to do something like this, and I want to have different writers on it, and I would love for you to come on and write something. And at the time, I was like, well, I don't really have a lot of interest in just writing a bunch of stats. And so Matt said, just write whatever you want. Just have fun with it, write comedy, write humor pieces, whatever you want to do your thing. I won't edit a word. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, is it kind of crazy now to see the success of KSR, to look back and think, oh my gosh, then we had no idea it was going to turn into this?
Oh, 100%. Because I think what we really tapped into, which I think we might have been the first to tap into it on a big scale, was recruiting information.
So, okay, then it evolves into the radio show, which left you behind because you have this horrible voice that people make fun of.
That's not true, Lee. That's not true, Lee. There was a small radio show in Louisville that has been forgotten. It was on an AM radio station in Louisville for about a year.
Oh, wow, the big bucks.
You had to be done by sundown, because at sundown it turned into an Esperanto music station. So you had to be off the air by the time the sun went down, because then the other towers overtook your signal.
I love
it. To make me happy, give me some of the comments that listeners would say about your radio performance. What would folks say about
I don't know about this.
About your voice?
I get everything from the mayor of Munchkin City. That's a good one. Helium accident. That's a good one. These are all hilarious.
These
really.
kind of check out.
And these are legit. These were actual comments, right? Whenever you'd appear on the show, who's that guy?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that every time I would appear on Kentucky Sports Radio, somebody thought they were making that comment for the first time. They were very proud of it.
They're high-fiving themselves, just like, man, I'm a creative genius.
Yeah, I gotta get to a computer.
Yeah, right. So you sound weird.
No, I love his voice.
I don't think to me, I don't sound weird.
No, you do.
I think I sound regular, because that's how I've sounded my whole life.
No, you sound weird. But you are a New York Times best-selling author now.
I know.
I'm the weirdest sounding New York Times bestselling author. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Please is now a success. We weren't last time I was on here, were we?
No, it had just come out. Come out last time we talked to you. And now, it's a New York Times bestseller. I mean, did you have a good vibe that that's what was going to happen, or were you shocked in a way?
Well, let me tell you how much my life has changed since that. No, it's been great. I mean, look, we knew and hoped, we had our fingers crossed, that people in Kentucky would find it and read it. Mm-hmm. The thing that I think surprised everybody outside of Kentucky was that it could become a bestseller with literally only Kentucky people buying it, because there was no national publicity. It got a review in the New York Times, and that's really it. It made it more special to have come on the backs of the Kentuckians we wrote the book for, because that's who we wanted to read it. That's who needed to read the book. So the fact that they bought that and supported us was such a sweet icing on the cake for that whole
When
project.
I have
That's
talked
wonderful.
with Matt, and I try to implore him the best I can, will you give yourself some credit? Stop putting all the spotlight on Tomlin.
I know.
You were there. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's okay, Matt, to say you're welcome. Quit giving everything to Tomlin.
I know.
I try. I'm like, listen, I'm going to sit this one out. And he's like, no.
He's like, no, Chris. You're the star.
No, but it's Matt's story. I mean, I am honored to have been a part of this with him. But I mean, the story of Matt is one of the big narratives of the entire book, and it's really interesting. There's so much interesting stuff in there about how politics works that I didn't know until I read these stories that Matt was telling. So yeah.
Right.
Okay,
All right.
so
I think we're done with him.
I think we're finished with
One
you.
more thing,
We're
though.
finished.
You and I have come to some
Done
sort.
forever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've come to
Okay.
some arrangement that we will make plans to bring back the Funkhauser situation in some form or another.
Podcast.
The podcast. So
Yes.
let's have my people
For
call
those-
your people.
For those 14 people who really miss it,
They do.
Oh my gosh.
they do, and those 14 people, God bless them, are very vocal, and we
You
love
mean
it. But
there is a following of people that are waiting to hear Tomlin again? Waiting to hear that melodious voice over the internet?
Yeah.
All right, Chris. So good to see you. Thank you for talking
it's
to
good to
us.
see you guys. Take care. Be
All right,
safe.
buddy. Again.
I love you guys.
Yeah, you too. Chris Tomlin from KSR, guys.